Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is July the 24th of 2020, and I am once again putting my PowerPoint up here for my sixth graders and fifth graders so that they can have a better understanding of what ecosystem is. So, what is an ecosystem? A complex relationship between living organisms, habitat, and resources. So, living organisms are all the animals and organisms that you see which are alive, and habitat, of course, they have their own, area of living, and they have their resources. So, the entire thing here is a complex relationship between living organisms, habitat, and resources. Organisms are typically dependent on each other and their habitat for survival. So obviously we know that each and every organism is dependent on the other in different ways. May that be even human beings, we are all dependent towards each other. We need a certain kind of dependency, and that is how survival goes, correct? So again, this is a simple concept. What is an ecosystem? Ecosystem is just anything that you see, your surroundings, like your garden, your pond, even if you want to say tundra, tiger, they're all ecosystems. Okay, which has a lot of animals, a lot of creatures, a lot of living things that has been actually helping the planet earth. Now, ecosystems can be naturally made or by artificial. So it can be natural because the earth changes in the course of time, and it becomes, there are the many things that change, and sometimes a pond is no more a pond, it's all completely dried out. And then you have the big huge trees that growing after about several years, right? So they are all changing rapidly, and then ecosystem also changes rapidly. So it can be naturally made by human beings, or it can be artificially made by human beings, or it can be a natural one too. So this is a natural ecosystem, and this is an artificial ecosystem where it could be a school playground where everything has been cleared, everything has been naturally, it's neat and neat, everything has been aligned properly, kind of thing. And here it's just a jungle where it's a natural ecosystem. Okay? What type of ecosystem is this? So if you can identify what type of ecosystem it is, it's nice to know what type it is. And monoculture forest versus natural forest. Um, just see monoculture forests are tall, tall trees, and then they have a particular height and everything. A natural forest is all with various multiple variety of plants and animals, of course. Home and a habitat. The place where an animal lives is called a habitat. An animal lives where it finds food, water, shelter, and mate. So that's the case with not only just birds or animals, even human beings, right? We always try to be settling down near water. Why? Because we settle down besides water, because we know that water is used for multiple purposes and also helps us grow vegetation, right? So the first settlers, when they came and settled down, they settled down besides water so that they can have something to drink, use for their purposes, as well as grow crops. Again, if you look at this picture, we see a lot of things. We see things that are biome, like we can see birds, living things, right? We can see the living things. We can see a cow, rabbit, trees, birds, squirrel, raccoon, and all those kind of things. They are living things. Non-living things are what? Clouds, air, um, water, rock. These are all non-living things. So again, we have biotic and abiotic. What is biotic? Biotics are all anything that is living or was living, and then abiotic is that is not living, non-living things. Yeah. Abiotic factors can be temperature, rainfall, rock, water, etc. Biotic factors are all anything that is connected to living organisms. Ecosystem can be small or large. The key idea is that they share similar factors. So in an ecosystem, we are always sharing. We are sharing food, we are sharing water, we are sharing our other organisms, other human beings, etc. So ecosystem is a place where we have a lot of sharing factors happening. Now these are the different types of ecosystems. We have Arctic. You have tundra, you have taiga, you have plains, the northern forest. So everything is color coded. So if you want, you can just identify, say like northern forest. Then you have eastern temperate forest, which is this green eastern temperate forest. You have the North American deserts, which are these North American deserts, and then you also have Mediterranean and California, and then you have the tropical humid forest, which is that on the top of here, right? So this map pretty much shows all kinds of ecosystems that we have on the planet Earth. Again, this is just the process of how things are growing even under the soil. There is an ecosystem on the top of the soil. There is ecosystem. So on the land, there is deep inside. Also, there is an ecosystem happening, right? See, they're growing. There are worms here that are flourishing. So they're all part of ecosystem. All living things need food to live. The living things in an ecosystem depend on each other for the food. There's competition too because of that, because of everybody needs food, right? So there's competition between animals, so that the survival for the fittest actually actually is able to hold in an ecosystem. And again, when you look at the organisms, they can be carnivores or they can be herbivores, they can also be omnivore. Carnivores are those which eat only meat, herbivores are those which eat only plants, and then there is omnivores which eat both. Adaptations is something that happens to all the organisms eventually. It's not like today they want to change and they can change. That's not how it happens slowly in a progressive way, in such a way that is actually advantageous to each and every animal. So the animal that is actually changing its features is because it needs to change for a particular reason. Maybe it has to hunt and it's not able to hunt. Maybe it has to get its food and it's not able to get. So eventually the beak starts moving in the direction of changes, and then finally you can see, when you observe an eagle, and in way long time ago, if you observe an eagle, the eagle's beaks are not the same when compared to as that is today. So why is that? Because eventually they try to modify themselves to get more food and things like that. I hope this short video helps you to understand or review the concepts that you already knew. This was not it's not a lot of points on in the PowerPoint, but it was enough for you to understand, especially for fifth graders who are coming into sixth grade. It is a very good PowerPoint where you can just review and see and look back and think as to what you remember and what you don't. Right? Okay. All right, guys. If you have any comments, send it to me. Otherwise, please make sure that you subscribe, and make sure that always when you study, you need to first review a couple of times, read through a couple of times, and then take notes. Note taking is very important as you go from grade to grade, especially in the higher grades. But then the concept has to follow through from now, especially for fifth graders who have just come into the from elementary school to sixth grade. Make sure that you start doing that review, read through, understand, highlight, annotate. And if you do that, what happens is whenever you have a doubt and you go back and refer, you will always try to get, yeah, I know I remember that. I did read that. So always remember to take notes, understand, do not by heart, do not start memorizing it. That is not the way any subject works, especially science. Okay. And I know you guys will do good. Thank you for listening, and all the very best.